Preston's rundown. That stem must be a son of a bitch still going to school. I gotta really remember the get down, rundown, I hustled from those pimps in the joint. I said, Phyllis, Daddy's been out there casing those streets. It's like walking in a river of tricky crap. If I had any other bitch but you, I would say she couldn't go out there and get me some scratch. Baby, I got a lot of confidence in you. I know no stud or con bitch can sell you a pig and a poke. In fact, I would stand in the halls of Congress and swear that you would be too busy getting scratched to even listen to bullshit. Am I right so far about you? Or have I overrated you? She said, Daddy, I'm a big girl now. No nickel slick bastard can steal me from you. You know what, you, and always will. Honey, I just want to be your little dog and make you $1 million. When we get rich, maybe you won't mind if Gay, my daughter, lives with us. She's only 2. She's so cute and friendly. You'd be crazy about her. My aunt St. Louis takes care of her. I thought, I was sure yeah, I had her a week, and I was flat-footed. I hadn't heard about a crumb crusher. Worse, I hadn't given her a deep quiz. I really knew nothing about it. It had been the one rundown from the joint I'd goofed. I had been satisfied with the shallow rundown from that sissy barkeep. The pimps in the joint had said, there ain't nothing more important than what makes a new bitch tick and why. You gotta scrape her brain. Find out whether the first joker who laid her was her father or who. Make her tell you her life story. If she can remember back in her mammy's ass, good. Fit all the pieces together. Maybe then you'll know if she's a 2-day package or a 2-year package. Don't try to play him in the dark. Quiz him into a crack up if you have to. Wake him up from a dead sleep. Check the answers you got with what you get. I said, girl, your rap is right on the scratch. It's you and me against the world. I'm gonna make a star out of you. We are going to get rich as cream. You gotta hump your ass off in those streets, baby. As soon as we get a big bundle, you go pop the kid. Now forget about her until we get in shape. I don't want anything in your skull but those tricks out there. Now listen carefully. I want you to do nothing but work the street. Stay out of the bars. Don't drink, smoke gangster, or use anything while you're working. Your skull has to be sharp and clear out there. Otherwise, you can lose your mind. Almost as bad as believe me, I'm not used to it. I want you to memorize everything that happens while you're working. I want to run down every night after you knock off. Maybe some stuff players will set you up like tonight and take you off tomorrow night. Keep those crack-wise niggas out of your face. If I see you rapping to a Jasper broad, I want to put my foot in your ass. Play for cruising white tricks, spade tricks or trouble. They all want to make a home. You're black and beautiful. They can't resist you. They are the freaks, and they got the scratch. Ask them for 100 and take 10. You can go down on the price. You can't go up. Don't go to nobody's pad for a double saw over. Take them to the Martin down the street from where we are gonna move. Flip out of wheels as much as possible. Flip them fast and crack more scratch for overtime. Your name is Mary Jones. I got enough BR to raise you fast. You're not a thief. I don't need a bondsman or lip now. You don't have sheep. You see a young girl out there, square or whore. Pull her. Be friendly to her. Build me up. You know, tell her how smart and sweet I am. Don't let no bitch pull you. This family needs some whores. Don't bring no junkie bitch to me. Now, is there anything you don't understand? She said, no, Daddy, I dig everything. You can wire me if something turns up I don't dig. Daddy, I am so proud of you. You are so clever and strong. I feel so safe being your girl. I'm gonna be a star for you. I had told her all I knew. It was just pimp garbage. What the 90% know to tell her all. What she really needed to protect herself in those terrible streets were daily rundowns for as long as she was my woman. How could I run down the 1,000 crosses she'd face? All I knew I'd gotten from the pimps in the joint. They were only fair pimps from small towns. None of them had the guts or savvy for this rapid trap. The runt and me were a pure case of the blind leading the blind. I was bone tired. I had to be fresh for our debut. I said, "Sugar, let's cop some dollars. We got a hectic night coming up. Oh, I forgot. Some louse put the heist on your slum. Don't worry. With what you got left, I'll have enough scratch soon to score for the real thing. This is our last day in this flop house. I copped us a jazzy little pad uptown. Sleep tight, baby puppy." She said, "All right, Daddy. I'm going to sleep. I wonder how Gay is doing." When I woke up, I thought the runt had scalded me with hot grease. I was in a flaming sweat. My ticker was smashing inside my chest like a record's demolition ball. That cunning joker playing God had conned me again. I had whipped my poor mama again. The runt's frightened big eyes almost touched mine. That puckered gash looked like she had grown an extra cat. She was saying, Daddy, you all right? It's your baby, Phyllis. Damn, you had a bitch kitty nightmare. Was the heat chasing you or something?" I said, "No, baby, as a matter of fact, you was. You had done a stupid thing in the street. You let a nigga pimp con you into his hog. It turned out he was a crazy gorilla. He was trying to cut your throat. I saved you before he croaked you. Dreams often carry warnings. So, bitch, stay out of those pimps' hogs." She said, "Daddy, I'm looking for white tricks and hogs. That's where the long scratch is. Ain't no nigga pimp gonna put my ass in a sling. I'm too slick for that okey doke. You not going to get salty with me about a dream I hope. Daddy, I ain't going to bullshit out there." It was 5:20. By 7 o'clock, we had moved to Blue Haven. The runt went for the pad. First thing, she lifted the phone off the hook to see if it works. I said, "Tell your tricks to call you here." She laid the bearskin and freaked the joint off with her lights. Except for the fake stars, it was a fair mock-up of her pad by a copter. She went to the street to get down at 8. I had told her to work just the block where we padded for a week or so. I went to the front window. 10 minutes after she got down, she broke luck. A white trick in a 37 Buick picked her up. I timed her. She had racehorse speed. She was back on the track in 9.5 minutes. A black pretty broad could sure scratch up a white man's itch fast. I watched her scratch 3. I showered and got as pretty as I could. I made an urgent skull note to cop a hot vine connection. I also needed a gangster and cocaine contact. I got the elevator. I left the key at the desk. I had told the runt to check her scratch past 40 slats into the toe of my tan Stetsons. I got into the Ford. I waved to the runt on my way to the roost. It sure was a thrill to have a young, fine bitch humping for me. I parked across the street from the roost. I dabbed a sponge into a box of Sunglow face powder in the glove compartment. I made my face up into an even, glowing tan. I got out and crossed the street toward the roost. It was 10:30. The sky was a fresh, bright bitch. This first April night had gone sucker and gifted her with a shimmering bracelet of diamond stars. The fat moon looked like an evil yellow eye staring down at the pimps, hustlers, and whores, hawk-eyeing for a mark, a cop. I felt the raw tenderness of first April winds lashing at the hem of my white alligator. I felt the birth stirrings of that poisonous pimp's rapture. I felt powerful and beautiful. I thought, I was still black in the white man's world. My hope to be important and admired could be realized even behind this black stockade. It was simple. Just pimp my ass off and get a tongue scratch. Everybody in both worlds kissed your ass black and blue if you had flash in front. I was 6 storefronts away from the roost. He stood in the center of the sidewalk. I looked down at him. He was a foot shorter than the runt. He looked like a black baby who had taken ugly pills. His head was the size of a giant pumpkin. His voice was a squeal like a clappy joker makes when the croaker rams a sound down his dingus. He squealed, "Shine 'em up, hotshot! If I had your hand, I'd throw away mine. Get on big time! Shines ain't but a dime. Shine 'em up!" I looked down at my stomps. They could stand a gloss all right. I followed the pointing, gnarled finger to the dwarf's open-air stand. It sat at the mouth of a gangway between 2 buildings. The red fringes of its tattered canvas top rippled in the breeze. I climbed into the chair. The dwarf was slapping polish on my Stetsons. A thin stud with at least $500,000 in threads on his back took the other chair. He was wearing silver nail polish. He was reeking with perfume. A gleaming black custom Duesenberg eased into the corner in front of me. The top was down. My peepers did a triple take. A huge stud was sitting in the back seat. He had an ocelot in his lap, dozing against his chest. The cat was wearing a stone-studded collar. A gold chain was strung to it. He was sitting between 2 spectacular high yellow whores. His diamonds were blazing under the streetlight. 3 gorgeous white whores were in the front seat. He looked exactly like Boris Karloff in blackface. He was rapping something. All 5 of those whores were turned toward him. They were listening and paying attention like he was God giving them a pass to heaven. He could have been running down a safe place to hide because the world was coming to an end. I said, "Who is that?" The dwarf said, "You gotta be from out of town. That's Sweet Jones. He's the greatest nigger pimp in the world." The thin joker said, "That spotted cat, Miss Peaches, is the only bitch he cares lives or croaks. Shit, them whores you penning ain't but half the stable. If they got nigger pimps in outer space, he's the best of them too. He's gonna take them whores into the roost and pop some. He's loving 20 G's in his ways. Ain't no heist man crazy enough to stick him up though. He croaks niggas for his recreation." I couldn't believe what I saw. This was only 1938. Those Duesenbergs cost a fortune. He must have been the only black pimp in the country who owned one. My peepers jacked off just watching him in those high-powered holes. It was as exciting as maybe Christ making his encore. The dwarf had shined my stomps. I gave him a buck. I sat there and watched Sweet Jones and those whores get out of the Duesenberg and walk toward the roost. The black spotted cat slinked beside him. I thought, tonight I got to cut into him. I got to be careful so I don't blow him. The cut-in has to be in the roost. I'll go in and cook something up in there. I got off the stand. I passed Poison's problem whore. She was sitting beside a joke in a red hog. She had a bottle of gin in her jib turned straight up. As I neared the roost, I saw old Preston trying to shoot 2 marks into the Greek's joint. Just as I turned into the roost, he bucked his eyes and jerked his thumb at me. He was tipping me Sweet was in the roost. I nodded my head and went in. It was an off night for the combo. The jukebox was grinding out pennies from heaven. The joint hadn't crowded yet. There were maybe a half dozen couples in the booths. Sweet Jones and his whores were the only people at the log. They were in the center. The cat was licking her paws beneath Sweet's stool. I sat at the log near the front door facing him and the stable group. The pretty Mexican broad was standing in front of him. Sweet was buying the house a drink. She served his party. She glanced at me. She remembered my drink. She brought me a Planters punch on sweet. The floor waitress loaded a tray from the bar and the booze all on.
Had eyes on that boy.
I sat there stirring his food. He had to be 6'6". His face was like a black steel mask. Not a flick of emotion played over it. He kept smashing the heels of his brute-sized hands together like he was crushing an invisible throat. Even at a distance, it made me edgy. I guess it kept his whores on the brink of peeing on themselves. If he had smiled, maybe they would have dropped dead from shock.